Far beyond the clouds, where the sky shimmered with shades of gold and silver, there existed a magical land called Skyfire Valley. In this enchanting kingdom, dragons soared gracefully above crystal mountains, while animals lived peacefully in lush forests below. At the very heart of the kingdom stood the magnificent Crystal Mountain, whose glowing crystals filled the land with light, warmth, and magic. The source of this magic was a tiny golden dragon named Spark. Though he was only a baby dragon, he possessed a special crystal scale on his chest that radiated powerful energy throughout the kingdom. Every flower bloomed because of its light, every river sparkled because of its magic, and every creature lived happily under its protection. Spark was curious, playful, and always getting into trouble. He loved chasing butterflies, sliding down rainbow waterfalls, and flying after floating clouds. The Dragon Queen, his mother, adored him deeply, though she often worried about his adventurous nature. One evening, dark clouds suddenly gathered over Skyfire Valley. The wind howled louder than anyone had ever heard before. Lightning flashed across the sky, and a mysterious black tornado appeared above Crystal Mountain. Dragons rushed to protect their homes, while animals hid beneath trees and inside caves. In the middle of the chaos, Spark was swept away by the powerful storm. The Dragon Queen searched desperately through the darkness, calling his name again and again, but the baby dragon was nowhere to be found. When the storm finally ended, the kingdom was silent. Spark had disappeared. The Dragon Queen sent the bravest dragons across the world to search for him, but none could find any trace of the little dragon. As days passed, strange things began happening. The rivers lost their sparkle, the flowers stopped blooming, the crystals on Crystal Mountain grew dimmer each day. Without Spark's magical crystal scale, the kingdom's magic was slowly fading away. Meanwhile, far beyond the kingdom, Spark woke up in a strange forest. He was lying beneath a giant mushroom surrounded by glowing flowers. His head hurt, and he could not remember how he had gotten there. In fact, he couldn't remember much at all. He knew his name was Spark, but he had forgotten who he was and where he belonged. Frightened and confused, he wandered through the forest until he heard a cheerful voice. "Hello there," called a small white rabbit. Spark turned around and saw a friendly rabbit carrying a basket of berries. "My name is Daisy," she said with a smile. "Who are you?" "I'm Spark," he replied softly. "I think I'm lost." Daisy immediately felt sorry for him and offered to help. Together, they traveled through the forest, searching for clues. Along the way, they met Finn, a clever fox who always had a joke ready, Bruno, a gentle bear with a huge heart, and Rio, a colorful parrot who seemed to know stories about almost everything. The four animals quickly became Spark's closest friends. As they journeyed together, they encountered many adventures. One day, they reached the Rainbow River, whose magical waters had become dark and lifeless. Animals on both sides of the river were unable to cross. Spark wanted to help, but wasn't sure how. Suddenly, when he touched the water, his crystal scale glowed faintly. A bridge of shimmering light appeared across the river, allowing everyone to cross safely. The animals cheered, and Spark felt a strange warmth inside him. Later, they entered the Whispering Forest, where ancient trees could speak. The trees seemed to recognize Spark immediately. "The little dragon has returned," one tree whispered. "The crystal child walks among us again," said another. Spark was confused. He didn't understand what they meant. But before he could ask more questions, the trees fell silent. Their adventures continued. In a dark cave, they rescued hundreds of trapped fireflies. In an icy valley, Spark accidentally discovered he could breathe warm golden flames that melted frozen pathways. On floating islands high above the clouds, they rode giant birds and escaped dangerous storms. With every act of kindness and bravery, Spark's crystal scale glowed brighter. Yet throughout their journey, a strange shadow followed them. It never attacked, but it always seemed to be watching from a distance. Sometimes the shadow appeared between trees. Other times it moved silently across mountain cliffs. The friends grew nervous whenever they saw it. "It's probably dangerous," said Finn. "Maybe it's waiting to attack," whispered Daisy. But Spark wasn't sure. Whenever he looked at the shadow, he felt something strangely familiar. Weeks passed, and eventually the group reached the Golden Desert. There, they discovered an ancient map hidden beneath the sand. The map pointed toward Crystal Mountain, a place Spark somehow felt connected to. Deep inside his heart, he knew he needed to go there. As they approached the mountain, the sky grew darker. Black clouds covered the horizon, and the air felt heavy with magic. At the mountain's peak stood a dark fortress surrounded by swirling shadows. This was the home of Morvac, an ancient sorcerer who had secretly created the storm that stole Spark away. Morvac had spent years searching for the power of the crystal scale. He believed that if he controlled its magic, he could plunge the world into darkness and rule forever. When Spark arrived, Morvac finally revealed himself. "You've come exactly where I wanted you," the sorcerer said with an evil smile. At that moment, Spark's memories suddenly returned. He remembered the Dragon Queen. He remembered Skyfire Valley. He remembered the storm. Most importantly, he remembered who he truly was. He wasn't just a lost baby dragon. He was the guardian of the kingdom's magic. Morvac unleashed powerful dark magic. Shadows exploded across the mountain as the sky thundered overhead. Daisy, Finn, Bruno, and Rio fought bravely beside Spark. During the battle, the mysterious shadow that had followed them finally revealed its true identity. It wasn't an enemy at all. It was Spark's own shadow magic, separated from him during the storm and secretly protecting him throughout his journey. With his memories restored and his friends beside him, Spark found courage he never knew he possessed. His crystal scale shone brighter than the sun itself. Golden light burst across the mountain, pushing back the darkness. Morvac fought with all his strength, but the power of friendship, kindness, and courage proved stronger than hatred and fear. In a final flash of brilliant light, Morvac's dark magic shattered. The sorcerer was defeated, and the black clouds disappeared from the sky. Immediately, magic returned to the world. The rivers sparkled once more. Flowers bloomed across the valleys. The crystals on Crystal Mountain glowed brighter than ever before. And far away in Skyfire Valley, the Dragon Queen felt hope return to her heart. Soon after, Spark finally returned home. The Dragon Queen rushed forward and wrapped her wings around him, tears of joy shining in her eyes. The entire kingdom celebrated the return of the lost baby dragon. Dragons filled the sky with dazzling displays of light, while animals danced beneath the stars. When the celebration ended, the Dragon Queen offered Spark any reward he desired. Spark smiled and looked at Daisy, Finn, Bruno, and Rio. "I only want one thing," he said. "My friends belong with me." The Dragon Queen smiled warmly. "Then they shall always have a home here." And so the animals moved into the Dragon Kingdom, where they lived together happily. Spark continued exploring the world with his friends, but now he understood something important. Being a hero wasn't about being the strongest or most powerful. It was about helping others, showing kindness, and finding courage, even when you feel afraid. And every night, as the stars twinkled above Crystal Mountain, the little golden dragon who had once been lost would look up at the sky and remember the incredible journey that taught him the greatest magic of all: friendship,